Good evening, Professor. My name is Jack Diop, and I'll be going over my presentation on cyber attacks. Cyber attacks, as you may know, can be described as a form of assault that is launched by cyber criminals using one or more computers and associated networks against other computer or system networks. The attacks are aimed at misleading, destroying information, stealing data, or information breaching. Cyber attacks can be carried out in following forms such as malware, phishing, ransomware, man in the middle attacks. Man in the middle attacks entail cybersecurity threats, especially hackers who encrypt the network systems of government or business entities and demands payments to unlock the information. Consequently, the U.S. government developed cybersecurity policy brief to capture the landscape of entire cybersecurity in areas that can positively impact future research efforts to enhance private and security. Therefore, the policy brief tackles areas such as standards, certification, privacy and data protection, and public-private information sharing systems. Standards and certification, like man-in-the-middle attacks. So man-in-the-middle attacks over the years, organizations have evolved from having physical offices to using like digital platforms such as like website applications, social media platform, communication with clients. So like TikTok, I'm not gonna say it's like accurate, but like TikTok is definitely have been shown to be selling our information to third-party systems. Like it has been proved that they're selling it to China, and our information is being breached on a day-to-day basis. But none happens, but all this happens due to like transitions because cyber criminals have also evolved, like are always on the hunt for vulnerable servers and communication channels. So they're always looking for like people who are vulnerable and people who don't really know too much and that they can just hack. Like it's so easy to hack old people nowadays. Not to say old, but the elderly. Um, the elderly are very very vulnerable, and they always give the information, and it's so easy because the way these man-made attacks are happening. The attacks happen in different forms like fake Wi-Fi, hotspots, IP, DNS spoofing, like easy targets. Like it occurs when a hacker inserts themselves between the communication of a client and a system admin or operating the server or application without the awareness of the two parties. So people are not even knowing this is happening. It's just happening behind the scenes. Once an attack identifies a vulnerable server or communication channel, they position themselves in a way that they're able to intercept communication. So, within the shortest time, such that both parties can identify that their information is accessed or edited by third parties. So you wouldn't even know that these people have hacked or gotten your information. Like it's all done really, really quick and in a way that you can't see it. So that's just really scary the way that these people are evolving and continually on the hunt for our information and trying to capture. Like the attacker's target is based on their motivation. Like some intercept the information so as to access confidential information from the company or from the client, and with this they can later launch a ransomware. Once other hand, other intercept financial information such as payments information, and with this they can mislead the buyer into sending money to other accounts if they're not the operator. Like people are getting fooled to send certain things to people over the phone, whether it be wire transactions, um, mobile payments, stuff like that. Like it's crazy. Like fake Wi-Fi attacks was one of the biggest ones. Is the most avenue through which main and middle attack is launched. Like to launch attack, the attack creates a free Wi-Fi connection and takes the attacker to join. So make it more clear. The attack has the Wi-Fi name and the attacker starts to secure others. Wi-Fi is always passes free. Once the target joins the hello data, again all that use data and information they proceed to insert communication channels. So this is actually something people the most easiest way to get someone's information into a fake wire hotspot attack. That's what I talked about in my slide because even myself, I've been a victim of this, and I probably think people have my information just because I've been in need of Wi-Fi, and I've seen like BS Wi-Fi pop up sometimes, and I've then joined it, and I'm pretty sure they took my information when I've joined the Wi-Fi. Like I'm pretty sure. So it's like, oh, I've been a victim without not me knowing, and it's like all I try to do is get Wi-Fi, and now me just trying to join that, they have now copied all my information and selling it to other people. That's a big thing, and the way that these people evolve, you can't even catch them. So it's like we can make all these acts, and I know that has nothing to do with this, but we can make all these acts, and we can do all these policy briefs and try to stop it. But like, it's gonna keep happening, keep happening, keep happening. And evidence, MITM attacks are, according to Cook. Four Chinese hackers were a part of the Chinese army in 2017. They stole private records of 104 million from the Equifax, which is a credit monitoring company. People use that on a day-to-day basis. And my credit, that is, you have access to a lot with the credit. So it's like, okay, now it's like they went far, and these companies, I know it has nothing to do with this. These companies, definitely not 100% free. They know what's going on, but it has nothing to do with this. Information is acquired through MITM attack through targeting vulnerable systems, allowing the hackers to breach and harvest information. Cook also attacks the FedEx, a U.S.-based shipping company, facing an attack launched by the WannaCry 2.0 ransom malware that resulted in loss of 300 million as a ransom payment. The attack was initially an MITM attack, was the attacker stole valuable information and returned asked for a ransom payment. Just another thought I found interesting when researching these type of attacks. So, like I said, like we could enforce a lot of policy against these type of attacks, but like I said, essentially, what is a policy going to do? This is me freely speaking. Like these people are still going to do it. These people are not scared of anybody. They're going to continue doing it because the goal is the goal. That's the objective, and they're not going to stop until they do it. They are evolving every day into new ways and new schemes that the people monitoring can't even keep up. Like, oh wow, we've gotten this now. Like, so the Privacy and Data Protection Act of 1974 requires that all institutions dealing with the consumer data protection make sure that the only authorized person has access to information. Okay, this also falls under the cyber attack world, where institutions responsible for this data are required to protect the first against any type for a cyber attack. Under this act, the government has given guidelines that dictate the protection and the sort of personal data. So the policy brief on like privacy data protection has no common federal data protection or regulation of law. The framework is underpinned by the Privacy Act of 1974, which group information as health information or financial information or categorized information under personal information. In such cases, the framework allows for the inclusion and execution of laws concerning cybersecurity threats. Sometimes the regulations overlap or contradict. Nevertheless, the government offers guidelines and voluntary standards that many perceive as unlawful. Moreover, the government of the U.S. groups more information under consumer protection laws, dictating protection of personal data. The U.S. government promotes the safe sharing of information between private entities and the government under CISA. So this is my problem. Like that's like the contradiction of the Privacy and Data Protection Act of 1994. Safe sharing. What do you mean safe sharing? And this is me freely speaking. Like, and this is the problem why I say these companies are not 100% guilt free. Like they know what they're doing. This falls under the Data Protection Act of 1994 requires that all institutions dealing with the consumer data protection the information and make sure that the only authorized person has access to information. However, you're telling me we can now safe share to what extent? So it just doesn't make sense. This allows enterprises to check and monitor cybersecurity threats and threaten or implement all the measures with the system to counter attacks. Homeland Security 2022 violating our rights again. So, like I said, we can push every type of policy act, we can push any type of policy brief. At the end of the day, these man and mill attacks are going to continue happening, and our information is online every single day. That's why even when we accept certain things, like accept certain cookies, we're now giving our information away. When we see certain sites, it's it's just crazy.